A video to help you get used to the process of transcribing a song. We'll begin by just focusing on the song sections and the basic chord changes. So just follow right along, and should make it fairly clear to you guys what the process should be. Tap along, determine whether you think it's in 4/4, 3/4, and write that in, and then sing Do and determine what that note is, and then sing up from Do to the third degree of the scale to determine whether you're hearing a major third or a minor third. Step 2, write out your diatonic triads. We figured out that this song is in C, C major. So the next step is write out the scale of C major and then stack up a third and a fifth above each note, giving you your diatonic triads. That gives you notes, it gives you the chord symbols. You also need the analysis symbols. You add those with Roman numerals. Like that. Very important, because that shows you the function of each chord in the key. Next step is to prepare your manuscript. It's good to use 9-stave paper, gives you more room to write things in between. And then a good assumption is that you're going to need 4 measures per line. It's a good starting place. So you write those in, and then place slash marks to help you keep track of what beat each chord will fall on. Okay, next step, count measures of each section. So we'll just do the intro and the first A section. So here's our intro, and we'll count along.
Once upon a time
Okay, so we determined that the intro is 4 measures long, so place a double line at the end of that section to show it's the end of a section of the song, and then at the beginning of the section label it as the intro. The internal sections of a song are usually labeled with letters. This is the beginning of the A section. For now we're going to deal with chord phrases, so we're going to listen to the next phrase starting here and see if we can hear a pattern and see how long that pattern lasts.
Once upon a time you dressed so fine, threw the bumps of dime in your prime. Then people call, say beware doll, you're bound to fall. You thought they were all kidding you.
So something's different there, something new is happening here. So that means this area is similar musical material, and it's a 4-bar phrase that is repeating. So at the end of those 2 4-bar phrases, we'll put another double line that will help us keep track of the fact that we've got something happening here, and then something different is going to begin happening here. Next thing, put X's where you think you hear chords changing. So here we go on the A section.
Once upon a time you dressed so fine, threw the bumps of dime in your prime. Then
Alright, see if you agree with this.
people call, say beware doll, you're bound to fall. You thought they were all kidding you.
Okay, now you listen for the actual bass notes, because in the kind of music that we're going to be transcribing in the early stages, most of the time the bass note will be the root of the chord. So here we go.
Once upon a time you dressed so fine, threw the bumps of dime in your prime. Then
Okay, and then you try to sing that back. Do, do, re, mi, fa, fa, sol. And you enter the chord symbols, the diatonic chord symbols that those bass notes indicate. Okay, so after singing along, determining what the pitches are, perhaps playing the chords on piano to make sure that they are the right qualities, this song is pretty much entirely diatonic, so it turns out that all these chords are just diatonic triads in the scale, ascending. You enter them in, and then since this phrase repeats again, you can just rewrite it again on this next line. So then the next thing would be to set about the task of figuring out the next different set of chords that come up following the part that we just transcribed. So to recap, we start by listening to the song, figuring out the time signature and key. Then we write out our diatonic triads up here to remind us of what they are. Then we start counting and labeling the length of sections and delineating them with double bar lines at the end of a section. And then we figure out where we hear chords changing, and then listen for the bass to determine the actual names of those chords, and then write them in. One final important point for clarification. This song, like many songs, is an example of when a bass line or bass player chooses to emphasize the root of the chord in most of what they're playing. This is not always the case, however. In this song, it was easy to figure out that this ascending bass line going from C to D to E to F to G was actually giving us the clue as to the names of the chords because the roots were being emphasized. But you should be aware that sometimes songs will feature, or bass lines will feature the third or the fifth or some other note occasionally as the emphasized note. As time goes on, you'll learn how to spot when that's happening.